Hello and welcome to The Scoop from Wisden. On today's packed show, we've got a special feature on the making of Vaibhav Sooryavanshi, speaking to two men who have played a key role in his spectacular march to the summit of the IPL.
I think we've got something completely generational here.
We meet Sonny Baker, England's next great fast bowling hope.
I beat the bat, goes anywhere near off stump, and I'm why? Ooh, I can't help myself.
Look back at the final of the PSL and ask whether we're witnessing the start of a Zalmi dynasty.
It was the highest recorded crowd in PSL history.
And ask if English cricket is finally prepared to shake off its tag of being a posh boys' sport. That and a whole lot more.
Now, if you're a cricket fan anywhere in the world, you're more than likely to have heard the name Vaibhav Sooryavanshi, the 15-year-old boy wonder who's taken the cricketing world by storm on the back of his performances in the Under-19 World Cup and the IPL. It is mind-boggling to think that Sooryavanshi was all of 6 days old when India won the 50-over World Cup, the last time they won it, back in 2011. And yet, here he is, reducing grown men to tears with his fearlessness and unbelievable ability to tonk sixes at will. A boy who's put his small town of Tajpur and the state of Bihar on the cricketing map. We have with us two men who've played a major role in unearthing this incredible talent and taking him to the next level. From spotting him on the dusty plains of Bihar to parachuting him into the Rajasthan Royals IPL team. Meet Samar Kadri, a former first-class player for Jharkhand and Bihar and talent scout for the Rajasthan Royals, and coach and mentor Zubin Bharucha, who's previously worked with the Royals for several years and now mentors players like Sanju Samson, Dhruv Jurel, Yashasvi Jaiswal, and of course, Vaibhav Sooryavanshi. Samar, if I can come to you first, his inclusion in the Bihar Ranji side at the age of 12 is just crazy. Tell us a little bit about the first time you saw Vaibhav Sooryavanshi batting.
So I've seen him in Patna. I was playing a match. So I've heard a lot about him. That there's a kid who plays amazingly well. So I got to see him when I bowled to him, and I saw the talent there because I'm a leg spinner. So I know how a leg spinner can bowl to a lefty. I bowled to him on the rough, and he just wanked me over the covers. That was like amazing. That skills was amazing.
And then you, of course, have worked as a talent scout with the Rajasthan Royals. So you spotted him, you bowled to him, you saw his phenomenal talent, and then you recommended him to the Rajasthan Royals. Tell us about that.
So I got a chance for scouting in 2023. Zubin sir asked me to do it, so I told him, sir, there's a boy, under 19 boy, so Vaibhav Sooryavanshi from Bihar. You should look at him. He's amazing. So he I guess he went to Chennai or something. Many scouts were there where he scored 150 plus in 60 balls.
We'll talk more about his technique in a bit, but if you can tell us a little bit about his temperament, because he's obviously a very cool customer.
See, he's a kid and he likes to enjoy himself or both calm demeanor. He's got a very calm demeanor. Nothing showbazi nahi hai. He's very normal.
Could I ask you, Samar, about his family, about his mother and father and the support that he gets from that family unit? I know his dad has been pushing him to become a cricketer. What's he like?
So the dad wanted to be an actor first. So and cricketer too, because Bihar is a very backward state back then when he used to play. Then Vaibhav came along and he saw some talent that this boy can play.
What do you sort of see in terms of his future? Like, where do you see him going from here?
Sky is the limit. He can play for Indian team for around 20 years easily. That's my prediction.
Samar, do you think, as his dad said after the Under-19s World Cup final, that he wants to see him play Test cricket one day and that then he will really have arrived as a player? Do you think that Vaibhav himself will want to play Test cricket and that in 5 years' time that will still be important to him as well?
See, he enjoys red ball cricket. Why there's a saying he can't play red ball cricket? He enjoys playing red ball cricket. And I've talked to him. He told me also that, Bhaiya, I love red ball cricket. I love to, because fielders are up. I can hit the ball anywhere I can.
And
It's the mentality. It's the mentality only.
Zubin, tell us about the first time you saw him bat.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now. It's absolutely surreal, because interestingly, if I go back to a lot of the great players that I have sort of worked with and have seen, and if I just say Sanju Samson, for example, it was the first ball that he played. He whacked it over mid wicket for six. Jaiswal, he sort of flicked it over his shoulder for four on the first ball, and then Vaibhav walks in.
But this is when he was still 13 years old, right? Before he's
Yes, exactly. So this was the first ball again, like all those other great players. This was the first ball, and interestingly, the ball before that was a right-hander on strike, and this left-arm seamer was bowling, sharp in swingers to the righty. And I sort of thought, okay, and he sort of just got LBW, sort of LBW, or he missed it or something like that. And Vaibhav came on to strike. And I thought, okay, this guy's bowling pretty decent. His ball is swinging out. I thought maybe this guy might get beaten outside off stump, might nick it to slip or some such thing. It was kind of just in my mind. I was just anticipating this whole sort of scenario. And he obviously bowled a nice ball back of length, outside off stump, swinging away. And the next thing, this thing unfurled in front of me that sort of took the ball straight over extra cover for six. I was like, I'm not sure this is normal, but you're in that very early stage because you sort of see so much talent, so you're still thinking, maybe it's okay, kind of thing. Your sort of mind is not yet comprehending whether what you've seen versus what has happened versus what the knowledge base and the sort of experiences that you've had over so many years. So you're constantly thinking, what was that? But you sort of move on to the next ball, and he sort of played a pretty few very impressive shots. And I kind of was sort of in my mind, I kind of knew there was something strange going on here. So the trial ended, and what I did was and because we didn't have any express pace bowlers there on the day, and so I actually sent everybody away from the trial, and sort of quietly called him back, because we had some side armers who they we have this particular guy who's 6 feet 4, and he bowls at like 155 plus. So I wanted him, Naman, to kind of test Vaibhav out. So I gave him the new ball, and I said, go at him, like let him have it, just to see, but I did tell him to, pitch it up, be on the fuller side. And I told Vaibhav that we are going to bowl quick to you, but we're going to bowl it on the fuller side. He was very calm. He looked very relaxed. He just said, yes, sir. And, that was it. And then the first ball I clearly remember was outside off stump. He just left it like, as if he was like leaving a spinner's ball or something. And I just looked up at the guy who was checking the monitor, and he just went 155. I was like, and the ball went, it went straight through to the top of the net. The keeper was like 25 yards back or whatever. And I just couldn't tell that. I said, this is, whatever. Just the way somebody leaves a ball, you know instantly. And he left 2 or 3 balls, and then I think our 4th or 5th ball, it was sort of a bit straighter, particular length, not really full. He just smacked it straight over the side screen. And I knew straight away.
Zubin, how often do you talk to Vaibhav?
That's his thing. He likes to prepare. He will discuss things like, what a bowler might try to do to him. He's sort of always sort of questioning. So we would have this banter, I'd say, Bumrah is going to bowl a Yorker, and he'll say, no, I think a slower ball. And I mean, eventually he's a kid, he's having fun. He's loving it. He's up for the challenges. As I said, he's super intelligent. He's kind of got that whole package. Now it's just a function of, keeping him on the straight and narrow, and ensuring that he, has the kind of career that everybody wants him to have.
Such an interesting interview. And if you liked what you've seen, then good news. We're going to be playing the full unedited version of this interview on our YouTube platform in a couple days. So keep your eyes peeled, and this is what's to come in that interview.
So when should he make his debut for India?
He's already ahead of so many people that are waiting in line.
Have you
tinkered with anything?
Yeah, so for example, bat speed, his swing speed, his impact points, everything is documented.
Will,
Yes.
social media, I have no idea what this is. Tell me what's going on.
So there's a bit of a trend going on TikTok where people crop the sponsors of iconic sports jerseys, normally football, but I want to do cricket this time. Basically, there's a lot of good combinations, and I want to know who the kit reminds you of.
So it's like a word association thing.
Kind of, yeah. So
Okay.
I've got 11 different shirts to go through.
for it.
I need
All
quick fire answers from you both. Let's go from the top.
Australia.
Warren?
Warren, yeah, next.
Oh,
Australia kit.
Glenn McGrath.
Shane Watson.
Interest, that's very different. Next up.
Geraint Jones.
One of my favourites, this.
Moeen Ali for me.
Interesting. Angela? It's Alistair Cook for me, that.
Yeah.
I guess he is very Waitrose.
He is
Alistair
very
Cook.
Waitrose. Yeah, next up. Oh,
Take your pick.
Oh, God. I'm going with Virat Kohli.
good shout.
Well, I mean, it's an obvious, yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, my God. Saurav Ganguly.
Ganguly.
This is Saurav
RPC.
Ganguly.
Interesting. Anant, our video editor, said this has to be Tendulkar.
Oh.
Next up.
Brendan McCullum.
Wasim
Abdul
Akram.
Razak. I'm having.
I'm going with Akram.
Fair enough.
AB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favourites.
Doesn't he get 150 in about 12 minutes in that shirt? Yeah.
I'm going with Sangakkara for that.
Dilshan for me.
Classic
Thanks
Sri
very much.
Lanka, yeah.
Oh.
West Indies shirt.
Yeah, BCL.
Yeah, fair. Lara.
Yeah.
I'm going Shanda Paul.
Yeah, nice actually.
Yeah.
He's very Digicel
Yes.
era.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Chanders can have it.
Perfect. So that was all the sponsors. I think there's some random names there.
Wow.
Some good combos.
There is content right there produced. Can't deny that's not content.
Okay, coming up on the show, we still have the fast bowler Sonny Baker talking about his England opportunities. Phil also gets into the Knight-Stokes Cup, and we have a lot more. But first, we'll get into Danyal Rasool, who talks about the follow-on from the PSL Final.
9 years since they last won the PSL, Peshawar Zalmi were crowned champions again on Sunday after they beat the Hyderabad Kingsmen by 5 wickets with 29 balls to spare. Leading the charge was their captain Babar Azam, who emerged as one of the tournament's top scorers. We're joined by Danyal Rasool from Lahore to tell us all about what makes the Zalmi so good and why they were the best team in the tournament. And Danyal, of course, you were there. 10 wins, 1 defeat only. What makes the Zalmi so good?
Yeah, I was there. It was one of I think the PSL said it was the highest recorded crowd in PSL history. I think it helped the final that almost no other game had crowd, so the fans were really desperate to get in. But yeah, as far as Zalmi were concerned, they were one of those teams that were very consistent at the start of the PSL. In the first 4 years, they made 3 finals. I think they've had a few management changes this time around. They had Misbah Haq and Otis Gibson, lots of experience. It also helped that some of their recruitment was really solid. They picked Kusal Mendes, who was coming into the tournament in good form, and then just their local core, I thought, was outstanding. Babar Azam hit form at the right time. Sufyan Mukim had tailed away towards the back end of last year, but I think the surfaces were perfect for him, especially on the highest scoring surfaces. He was the only one who was quite economical with the way he bowled, which gave them 4 overs of an advantage that no one else had. And I think, yeah, they just stuck at it. Some of the key moments in games, I think they handled pressure more than a lot of the other sides. They didn't play in Lahore much initially, when the surfaces wouldn't have been suitable to them as much, arguably. And in Karachi, they were just a bit of a juggernaut. They just kept rolling through teams. They played 6 games in 13 days. They didn't lose a single one, and I think that just gave them their own momentum.
Do you think this could be the team that just dominates the PSL for the next few years? The start of a dynasty?
In some ways, you could say that, because this year it was a bit more unpredictable, because with the 2 new franchises coming in, teams were only allowed to retain 4 players, which is a historical departure from the 8 or 9 that they usually get to retain. But now these teams are all on 2-year contracts, so these players that Peshawar Zalmi right now have, they could have them next year and potentially for another year as well. The only real variable is if some of these players end up going, especially the overseas players, end up going to the IPL. Someone like Kusal Mendes, if he gets a contract, that will be a loss for them. But with their local core being so strong, I think they are very well placed for a year or two.
Danielle, very briefly on Babar Azam, does it feel like this is a victory for the whole of the nation? Is there been a more popular PSL win?
Yeah, that's the thing. Babar Azam is, well, he's from Lahore, so there was huge support for him anyway. And then Babar is someone a lot of Pakistan has been desperate to get back into form. Removing him as captain in some quarters wasn't a popular decision because people just love him so much. So I think the fact that he came back into form in the format that's his least favorite format in a lot of ways, and he did so playing more modern T20 cricket than a lot of players thought Babar was capable of. I think he's shown a level of evolution that is quite encouraging for both for his fans and potentially Pakistan in the future. I think he was unstoppable for a lot of the tournament. He needed one more run to become the highest ever run scorer in any PSL season. So it's a bit of a shame that he didn't perform in the final. But yeah, overall, I think one of his best seasons.
And just overall as well, fans back in the stadia for the last few games. The PSL needed that, right, to add a bit of gloss, a bit of a sheen to the tournament itself, because it's been quite a tricky tournament to navigate.
Yeah, tricky is putting it diplomatically. I think for a lot of the first half of the tournament, it felt a bit dead and irrelevant, especially with the IPL happening across the border where there was no fan restriction. And so for a lot of the time, it felt like it wasn't really going anywhere. It was meandering. A lot of people wondered if there was enough excitement for a season that was supposed to be a rejuvenation season with two new teams. But then I think towards the end, with those 3 or 4 games, it helped that eliminator between Islamabad and Hyderabad, where Hunain Shah defended those 6 runs and with those crazy scenes with Manas Labuschagne and the whole team. I think that really set the stage for the final as well. And I think it showed that if you have fans in, this is quite a nice little league to watch.
Thank you so much for joining us, Danyal. So, Phil, we're switching roles today.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you what your inside scoop is.
Well, yeah, it's about the ongoing iniquities at the heart of English cricket, a subject that I've spoken about a few times before. So last week, the MCC Foundation, working out of here, launched the Knight-Stokes Cup, which is for secondary state schools in England and Wales and Scotland. And it's designed to try and bring through a new generation of young cricketers, because the reality for the English game is that it's posh and expensive and it's out of reach for a whole generation of young people. A recent study was done, and it threw up the number that 59% of professional men's cricketers now in England are privately educated, which means that they've gone to a school where you have to pay a certain amount of money in order to educate your child. Now, some of these players will have received scholarships, but a large number of them, the majority, come from families where they can afford to pay for their child's education. And the result of that, of course, is that you have a game that is now literally posher by this measure than the House of Lords itself. The House of Lords is 52% privately educated, where they encourage people to be posh, and English cricket is 59% privately educated. So you can see the reality for the game in this country. And the Knight-Stokes Cup is trying to redress the balance.
The 2 most famous state cricketers coming out of England.
Both state cricketers, and both then became England captains, but their stories are increasingly unusual. And so when they were both approached to back this new tournament, then they both jumped at the chance, because they recognised that people from their kinds of backgrounds are less and less likely to get involved at the top level of English cricket, or even just to fall in love with the game in the first place.
Do you think it's too late? Has the horse bolted?
Yes and no. These initiatives, and this is not in isolation, there are others, should have happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago. The people at the top of English cricket were asleep at the wheel, no doubt about it. But better late than never. Whether it will work, Ben Stokes has said that he wants to see in the next 5 or 6 years a number of players playing professional cricket who have come through this new tournament. Heather Knight acknowledges that the game remains still posh and expensive and out of reach. And if this tournament can help redress that imbalance a bit, then it's got to be worth a go. The encouraging thing is that the number of schools in the UK that have signed up for it is huge. Over a fifth of all state secondary schools in the UK have signed up for this now. So that amounts to the best part of 1,500 kids now involved. It'll be an under-15s competition, boys and girls, of course. And the MCC Foundation, working out of Lords, have pulled out all the stops. It's a really good idea. The final will be played here.
In September. Yeah.
The group stages began last week, and they've even erected a honours board in the pavilion.
Yes,
So,
I saw that.
yeah,
It'll
so
be quite
from-
exciting. Imagine if you're a young 15-year-old.
Exactly.
Who
So
knows?
it's-
They could just unearth the next Vaibhav Sooryavanshi. England's answer to.
Indeed, and that comparison is a good one because in other parts of the world, players are unearthed from all the nooks and crannies of life, and it's a richer and better game for that. In England, in this culture, they are trying to recognise a new way of doing things because the old ways just do not stand up in modern life anymore. So we shall see if it works. I really, really hope it does.
And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all of our Scoop episodes. And also give us a like, drop us a comment about your thoughts on the episode.
Joining us now then is Sonny Baker, Hampshire and England fast bowler. Now, Sonny's representing Chance to Shine today. Chance to Shine, one of the great stories really in English cricket. It's been working in state schools for many, many years and recently reached its 8 millionth school kid, introducing them to cricket. Without them, I do not know where we would be, but that is another story. Now, Sonny, thanks for joining us. First question, nice, easy one to get you going. Is English cricket still too posh in your experience?
Well, I mean, there's certainly a lot of posh blokes that play it, that's for sure. I've definitely met a few. I think the difficulty, obviously, with some of the stats about like private schools and stuff is if you have guys who then get scholarships to go, it skews the data a little bit. So I think it's tough to read into those numbers quite to the degree that they would suggest that it is. But, you know, I definitely count myself lucky to have been, you know, privileged enough to be in a family that are able to afford cricket kit and be in a position where I was close to a local cricket club. I think Chance to Shine were actually involved at the primary school I was at as well. So, you know, I'm definitely in a privilege for sure. But yeah, to the extent that it's been talked about, I think there's some exaggeration, but yeah, for sure I'm definitely lucky to be in the position I'm in nonetheless. And as you say, Chance to Shine are doing fantastic things to try and close down that gap and saw some talent a couple of minutes ago as well. People smacking balls all around the corners. That was, it was good.
Do you feel that cricketers have if you like, a public responsibility to use their position in public life to talk about issues around the game? Do you feel like as a young player that's part of the job of being a pro?
Yeah, I think it's important to definitely do what you can. As you say, like I try and come and do coaching bits all and try to encourage people to play the game and get involved because you know, I know what it's like being, for example, when I was a lot younger, I've talked about it outwardly before, that I was horrendous at all other sports, and you know, I didn't have loads of friends at primary school and wasn't exactly the cool kid. Not exactly that I am now either, but just involved in cricket thereafter really did help me, you know, make friends and just grew my confidence massively and has obviously significantly shaped my life as a person and now as my professional life as well. So I think it's really important to remember those things and where you can try and give back to the game and get involved doing little bits like this or coaching, or as I said, I went and did a talk about that at my local primary school. Just things where you can. Definitely, it's part of the job, and I think just being a good person.
Well said. And to your own game, Sonny, you've hit the ground running this year. Obviously, you made your England white ball debut last year, but already in red ball cricket, you've picked up 14 poles in the first 4 games for Hampshire. It's coming out well. Do you feel like you're ready for the step up, potentially into Test cricket? Do you feel like your game is ready for that yet?
Oh, it's a tough question. I mean, not 100% sure. Who knows, really? You only find out when you get there and you've had a level of experience. But I think the way you try and gain that experience is by controlling where your feet are. And as I say, the only thing I can do is keep trying to grind away in the championship and put in good performances and learn from guys like Kyle Abbott, where as you say, he's played Test cricket. He knows what it takes, and it's important to try and understand those things from him. So if you do get the opportunity to go and do that, you can be in the best place possible.
Sonny, your 2 white ball games for England were tough. What will you do differently when you get back into the setup?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I talked about in an interview the other day, I think actually, was I think from my first game, I can look at that fairly objectively and say, well, I mean, context driven in that, chasing 130 up the hill at Headingley, decent wicket, very good player, came after me. I can live with that and go, you know what, fair play. Sometimes you're going to get taken down, and that's okay. That's also part of the game. I'd say my T20 debut in Ireland, I felt that I was probably still trying to clutch back how my ODI debut went. I was, very unlike me. I'd beat the bat and not really carry on. I'd be like, thank goodness that didn't get hit for a boundary type thing, which is so unlike me. I'm an absolute carry-on merchant. I beat the bat, goes anywhere near off stump, and I'm, why? Ooh! I can't help myself. So, I think one of the biggest things would just be commit to being like that. That's how you are. So why would you pretend to be anything different? Like, get into a contest and, carry yourself in that way. And I think that will help my performance naturally. As I say, if I look at both those games, were they the worst I've ever bowled? No. Were they the best I've ever bowled? No. It's probably a somewhat middle of the road performance, but I think next time I come into the setup, the biggest thing for me will be trying to commit to playing the way and being more authentic to how I actually am, which is, I'll carry on if I beat the bat. I might give you a little stare down with a little smile, like, I'm not going to spray anyone and suddenly start being different to how I really am. But as I say, I think it would just be committing to being who I am and how I am on the pitch.
I think you're going to be really popular, no doubt, around the grounds. For Manchester Super Giants, you signed up this year in the 100, of course. You made your name in the 100 a couple of years back as well. Obviously, you picked up that hat-trick. You're bowling north of 90 mile an hour regularly in white ball cricket. Do you feel like the 100 is about to explode? Do you feel like it can fulfill its dream of becoming the second biggest franchise tournament in the world?
Well, only one way to find out. I think the investment into the game is definitely very exciting, and as you say, that association with IPL teams really definitely gives you a little foot up for sure. But yeah, I just think it's fantastic competition and brilliant exposure for players like me and younger players, like you see Colsey going for 390 grand. Like, it's just so exciting. You have opportunities to really play in front of massive crowds and televised games. It's just fantastic exposure for all the players, and I think people really, really enjoy playing in the competition. So who knows? Only one way to find out, as I said.
All right, Sonny, brilliant. Thank you so much, our very own carry-on merchant. Keep doing good things, and we'll speak to you soon.
All right, reverse scoop Q&A time, when we get you, the viewers, who ask the host a question. And today we had a question that asked, should England continue with the Bazball philosophy? Phil and Anjali, in a couple words, what do you think?
Yes.
And why?
Because it's a positive mindset. It's playing without pressure. I think it's when it crosses over into sort of playing kind of outrageous shots, then you might kind of question it. But I think the idea and the philosophy is a good one.
Yeah, I agree. The mental shift for a positive attitude in Test cricket is great. Phil?
Just make the right decisions in the moment. Just don't blow the moment. That's the thing. Stokes kept banging on about that all winter. Recognise the clutch moments and go and get hold of them. Don't just fold over in a heap and then blame some sort of hoary old philosophy. It's still the game. It's still a game that you have to judge the moment and when to hit, when to go, and when to throttle back.
There you have it. Make sure you ask us your questions across our social media and on the YouTube below. All right, it is player of the moment time, and we have the man of the match from the PSL Final. Who is it?
Aaron Hardie.
Got to be Aaron Hardie.
Mm-hmm. Magnificent game, wasn't it?
4 for and then
50
odd
runs.
not out after Zalmi threatened to fall over in a heat. I think they were 7 for 2. Lost a couple up top, and then he just steadied the nerves. The big Aussie got it done. So, yeah, he is our player of the moment.
Yeah, and his second franchise win this year after Perth Scorchers won the BBL.
Of course,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Mr.
Yeah.
Franchise.
Mr. Franchise, yeah, he's our man. Okay, that's it. What a packed show that's been. Thanks to all of our guests. Thanks, of course, to Anjali and the team behind the camera. We'll be back on Friday for more of the same. Cheers for joining us. Do leave a like, do subscribe, do all the good stuff. Thank you.